resilience and healing from a breakup or healing from rejection, right? How many times in life have you not been rejected? Whether it's in a intimate partnership, you've been rejected at work, or bank, or rejection from a college application. Have those sort of, unfortunately we can, oh so sorry we can, or let's say you're applying for an apartment, a home, or all kinds of rejection happens every day. Oh, you'll be rejected by your own children. Sometimes they tell you, mommy, oh daddy, like da 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 da, leave me alone, and you feel rejected. But that's your trauma response, that's your abandonment issue. So you start listening to yourself. These are things I did not know growing up until like way into my 30s, when I started going to school for psychiatry, for psychology. These are some of the things that were lacking in my life growing up as a child, and having had to go through a lot of traumas, as young adults and adults. Even being an immigrant here and then having first generation children, all that stuff, it's so hard to make sense when there's separation or rejection, what you feel like as rejection from, and even rejection from siblings, rejection from a parent. Have you ever felt like you were abandoned? You have, that abandonment from your parents. Sometimes parents might not have left physically, but they're present in the home, but you still feel abandoned because they're not emotionally connected. There's that emotional, abandonment feeling. Even though they're there, they don't give you they're not emotionally available. That's the word I'm looking for. And then that also cascade into attracting partners that are emotionally unavailable, because that's what you're used to. That's the pattern that you got comfortable with. That's where you got to work on yourself to try to pick better. So one of the ways to heal from rejection, look and know on manipulation. Check out my video on love bombing, on breadcrumbing, on stonewalling, on gaslighting, on using flying monkeys. That's why I'm so excited about trauma stuff and recognizing what it looks like. So manipulation is another form of gaslighting, making you second guess your own reality, make you feel, so especially if you have no sense of self, or maybe you're in a process. These things are always in process, right? So get in there. So you'll be love bombed, they're giving you all kinds of gifts and everything from the beginning, and then they start to breadcrumb you, everything like start to switch up. They do the whole switch up. You know them one way. When you met them, you fell in love, you start having feelings for them, and you're like, oh my God. And then they use all this manipulation tactics, like if they're doing something, you say it, then they start to stonewall you, they check out, they disappear, or they start to like minimize how many interactions they have with you. Or if you don't have sense of self or worthiness within yourself, or getting there, or at least recognizing these are patterns within them and not you, and not take it personal, you will internalize that. You're like, why was they all of a sudden they're breadcrumbing me? They're not giving me gift on Valentine's Day. They're not giving me, gift on my birthday. They're not texting me. It takes 2 to 3 days for them to hear back, and you're texting them pages and pages, telling them how you're feeling. Girl, if you have to text them pages and pages of how you're feeling and how they're hurting you and how they are doing this and that, and that's affecting you, it might be time for you to think otherwise, because you have to now work on your boundaries, because boundaries is not for them. Boundaries is something you do for you. Not open to engage, not open to explain, because that's you recognizing the manipulator and not just putting yourself as a bait to them over and over and over and over, right? So recognizing what manipulation looks like, recognizing that they have switched up. You fell in love with them, you started to like them. Sometimes you don't have a choice, which is a parent or a sibling. You are in forever, but it's up to you to be able to recognize those patterns within them, and set those boundaries for you, choosing to not engage, choosing to not explain, choosing to not send a message, choosing to see the distance and sit in it and being comfortable and notice it and be like, I see that. They haven't texted me. It's been a day. It's been 2 days. They might be dealing with their own shit. and just sitting there knowing that, and just like, okay, not going over like, what did I do wrong? Did I do anything wrong? I'm so sorry if I did anything wrong that can do that. You're crying, you're sad, you're chasing them. So then you have that trauma bond where you're trying to, by any means necessary, to not lose it, because that's your anxious attachment also. And it gives you that dopamine hit, and that dopamine hit, or that bringing up of that oxytocin, feeling. That's what babies like, having that cuddle from their moms, because that bond feeling, that dopamine hit, that helps them feel soothed. But you can give that to yourself, right? First recognizing, like I said, then starting to work towards it. This thing sometimes is not just one done and deal. I don't like it when people say, I've healed. But get into a relationship and you start getting triggered. What you said, I'm healed. It's not going to be healed no more, because healing is a process, a journey. It takes sometimes even a lifetime to heal, because some of the stuff some of us have accumulated, the baggages, invisible we're carrying, takes years. But at least the knowing the label, the knowing what it is the first step in what you've conquered. So, no, it's not your fault. You can't know things from like college level when you are still in freaking middle school. How are you going to blame yourself from not knowing college level stuff and you're still in middle school? Sometimes you have to wait till you get to college, then you will learn it. So for me right now, maybe I'm still like high school getting to college level, right? Sophomore years. But I like to share it because I'm like, wow. I used to beat myself up for not knowing college level stuff in this dealing, knowing how to recognize manipulation, how to recognize breadcrumbing, love bombing, what is rejection, what is manipulation, that people cannot always be empathetic like me, because I'm not empath. Doesn't mean somebody else can be, and you can change somebody to be an empath like me, and that everybody has different emotional bandwidth. And if you can't tolerate it, and the person Amy over there can tolerate that relationship with a parent, with a sister, with a sibling, with a blah blah blah, with a partner, with a child, but you can't, and giving yourself that grace to grieve that you can make it happen, and knowing that you have the choice to be able to do different, and maybe have to set more boundaries. So it's not your fault. That's the first thing. And know that for me as a believer, God has a plan for you. God has a plan for me. Jeremiah 29:11 says that God has a plan to prosper us, but not to destroy us. So even in this could be a way for you to recognize that God has a plan in it overall. The universe has a plan in it, and you can learn and do better and pick better. So give yourself that grace, give yourself that space to grieve. 2 and 3, recognize that it's not your fault. Recognize that you're now in college level and you were in middle school, and you had to be in the middle school in order for you to get to college, right? It's a step by step, and knowing that in the big scheme of things, you're preparing yourself to make smarter, better choices in the future. So this is preparation ground. Sometimes it takes this to build your resilience, to build yourself enough for you to make better. So this is all great in the best scheme of time. When things are happening hard right now, I've learned to embrace it. Like, what else? Bring the difficulties, because through it helps you learn, it helps you build. Cry about it, grieve, seek help, support, therapy. Have safe, good friends, 2 to 3 good friends that are supportive around you. Not the whole world, but I use this platform as a way to send the message out that there's support, there's help, especially for those of us who are empathetics. It's hard to get there, but if you can whip it in your mind, like I always say, you can whip it everywhere else. Have a great Monday, a great week, and bye.